Okay, so now we have our piece of trim that goes along this side. This here, once again, I've already done the massaging to tighten this up. This is where your piece of metal ridge for the metal or the body bonding goes. So, like I said, just give it a little massage. You just want to make sure it closes back up so when you push it on, it grabs good and tight. It's just a rubber against metal kind of grab, as you can see there. Got a couple little ears there that kind of grab around the metal as you push it in. It keeps it from walking loose. We also want to make a note on this front section. We have this plastic tab here. So we want to make sure we keep this pushed against the metal right here as we push the piece of trim on. Now I'm going to start here, and this is one of the things you have to be sure to do. Go ahead and get it started just a little bit, and you're actually going to slide it up inside this rubber seal a little bit. You'll see the curvature of your part, so you just want to follow with that curvature. Like I said, push the plastic trim down as you push your rubber seal back in place. So you may have to work it a little bit to get it all the way down, but once you do, it will be up against the body edge here all the way down. And there you go. As you see, it stops about the same place as the plastic does, maybe just a hair past it. Once again, we're going to use our bone tool to get in behind it to make sure that this lip is actually conformed with the plastic, not curled up behind it. Now this lip back here actually does tuck in back against the actual dash panel. Last but not least is our aluminum rocker panel cover. We're going to put that down right over the top of our rubber seals and our trim pieces so it holds them all in place. We've got 3 screws that hold this down. They are underneath, lack of a better word, a beauty panel, which should have your model underneath or written on top of it. Of course, mine's a standard XK8, so it simply says XK8 with some lines on it. And we'll show you that here in a minute. But we're just simply going to tighten these 3 screws down. And then we'll move on to our badge that goes over the top of these. Go ahead and start them all 3 just a little bit. Don't run them all down. The panel will conform to the position of the screws because it is a tapered head screw with a tapered hole. So it will actually pull the piece of trim in the place that it needs to be as you tighten these down. I am not sure what the spec is on this. I did not look it up. I'm just going to give it a good hand tie or tightening until I'm happy with it. There are guides out there you can get if you want to get the exact torque, but on this I feel safe enough to just simply tighten it down by hand. So here's that kind of beauty trim piece that's on all the XK8s, XKRs. Like I said, this piece varies depending on what model you actually own or what model you want to represent on your rocker panel. So this piece here, rather expensive, so do be careful when you remove it. You can reapply it. I unfortunately was not. So I had to buy 2 new ones. They were somewhat pricey for what they are. As you can see, it's just a simple blade of aluminum. Now when I pull the sticker off, it does have a mirror finish underneath, except for of course where the letters are. They have been etched into that really shiny finish. And this here, just a double-sided piece of tape. But when we apply this, what we're going to do is heat up the rocker panel aluminum piece, and then we're going to heat this up after we set it back down with the adhesive on the rocker panel piece to heat that up a little bit and make that glue stick a little better. Back at the rocker panel, So this piece here, you want to make sure you get it very clean. I'm just using a nice cleanser. Alcohol-based cleanser is great for this because it does dry quickly. This here that I'm using is a fairly quick drying solution. So now that we've got that clean, we're actually going to take our dryer here. Don't want to heat this up yet. So we're going to get that out of our way. I'm going to take our heat gun, get some heat going. So we're going to try to heat this panel up a little bit. Be careful not to sit in one place too long. You can damage your paint. But we're going to heat this up. Particularly today, here in Texas, we're a little cooler. Now, if it had been the middle of summer, I probably wouldn't even have to heat this. Just let it set in the sun for a minute, and it'll be plenty warm here where we live. So now we've got that good and warm. We're going to remove our double-sided tape protection. And the way I line this up so I don't have to touch the tape and I have it good and lined up on the very first go is get it lined up on this edge, kind of catch the edge of the piece of trim on the edge of the drop down that holds it in place. And once we know we've got it in place, we're going to keep tension against that and drop that in. So there we go. Now it's in here. Rub over it a few times. Let that heat kind of kick in and hold that in place. And before we apply heat, we are going to remove the protective coating. As you can see, like I said, a mirror finish when they're nice and new. We're going to heat this up for a moment as well. There we go. Careful, this could be hot. May not be hot enough to burn you, but it can be, depending on how long you left it on there. I like to use a rag. See, this rag actually has some stuff, and there's enough heat on there that it definitely is drying that solution almost instantly. So there we go. Nice and clean. It's stuck down, not going anywhere. So give it a few minutes to cool off before you start pushing on it or touching it again. Otherwise you could knock it out of position.